All right, next question up. We are dealing with an absolute value equation. So it's going to make the problem, slightly tougher, but we can handle this for sure. So what we see here is the absolute value of x plus 3 equals 10. So pop quiz time, everybody. Before we begin, no matter what, the absolute value function makes whatever number's inside of it what? The absolute value function makes any value inside of it positive, exactly. And so the reason for that is because we're measuring distance. Absolute value just says how far away are you from zero. So no matter what number you get, -5 or +5, it'll still be +5 because distance. Now, here's how that idea is going to really help us out, everybody. So everybody, if some way, shape, or form, if somehow this x plus 3 ended up equaling 10, everybody, is it true that the absolute value of 10 would still be 10? Is that true? Is the absolute value of 10 still 10? Yes, it is. That would work. Absolutely. Now, let me ask a very similar question, but in the other direction. Everybody, if x plus 3 was equal to -10, would that still be correct? Is the absolute value of -10 still 10? Is the absolute value of -10 still 10? It is. Look at that. So let me go ahead and have a check mark right there again, because this is how we're going to solve this problem with a lot of ease. So let me show you what just happened here. All I said was, if, hypothetically speaking, what we got in this absolute value was a 10, that would be correct. If we got -10 in there, well, the absolute value of -10 is positive 10, so that would work too. Here's how this helps us. Look at exactly what I just did. I said, if x plus 3 equals 10, then we have ourselves a proper equation. And at the same time, in blue, if x plus 3 equals -10, that would still be correct as well. Because remember, if we can get 10 out of this, the equation is still true. Whether it's positive or negative, when we take the absolute value, it'll still be 10. So enough talking. Let me solve each of these cases, and then I'll show you how, in the end, both answers will be correct. First, everybody, what do we have to do here in purple? What do we do with the 3? To get that out of the way, we'll do the opposite operation. So the opposite of adding 3 is subtracting 3 on both sides. Cancels out, and we get x equals 7. So there's our first answer. And if you want me to prove that this works, everybody, let me show you. We have the absolute value of 7 plus 3 equals 10. 7 plus 3 is 10. Everybody, is the absolute value of 10 equal to 10? Is that true? It is. Absolute value of 10 is positive 10, and that's true. That's correct. And we're good. Let me show you the other side. X plus 3 equals -10. We'll solve it the same way. We will begin solving by subtracting 3 on both sides. Everyone, if we're already at -10 and we go back another 3, where does that leave us? If we're already at -10 and we subtract 3 more, we end up with x equals -13. And so with that, let me go ahead and prove it again to you. I got you. We'll have the absolute value of -13 plus 3 equals 10. Let's see what this equals. And let me go ahead and separate this with a very clear vertical line. -13 plus 3. So if I'm at -13 and I come up 3, I'll be at -10. Everybody, is the absolute value of -10 positive 10? Is that true? It is. Yeah. So positive 10 does equal positive 10. And so that answer works as well, making the correct answer here. Answer choice A. X can be 7 or X can be -13. So in this next problem, what we see here is We're looking for the cost per lesson. So when we're talking about the same music school, the students pay this registration fee plus a fixed amount per lesson. Maya paid this amount total for this many lessons, and we're trying to find the cost per lesson. So as we contextualize here, this is one of those rare moments where the problem, the question sentence, it's going to give something away. Everybody, if there's a certain word that we should highlight, what's that word that we should highlight here in that question sentence? Oh yeah, the word per. The word per. We are looking for the cost per lesson. Again, what we want, let me write this down. What we want is going to be the amount of money per lesson. Help me out, my friends. The word per gives away what type of a value. What type of a value are we talking about here? Yeah, we're talking about a rate. When you are talking about how much money you're spending per lesson, that's a rate. For every lesson, you pay a certain amount of money. So that's what I can tell you with confidence. Before we get into, doubting ourselves, second guessing with the rest of the word problem, I can tell you right now, this is a rate. Now let's understand what kind of a context, what kind of a situation this fits under. Because here it says we have, at this music school, we pay a registration fee. Then we pay a fixed amount per lesson. And here's the total. Here's how many lessons. That fits perfectly under y equals mx plus b. In a nutshell, you have a beginning amount, you have a change, and then you have a final amount. The beginning amount is right here. We have that registration fee, $40. Then on top of that, we have ourselves that fixed amount per lesson, which is the rate right over here. And we have the number of lessons that we would multiply that by, 8 lessons right here. So I'll write down m times 8. And remind me one more time, my friends, what was the final amount? Yeah, 320. That's the final ending amount, the end result. We would pay $320. So let's get to work now. M times 8 is the same as 8m, so I'm just going to rewrite everything right over here. 320 equals 8m plus 40. Up next, well, this is just an equation that I have to solve now. So if you were able to get to this point, 320 equals 8m plus 40, congratulate yourselves. You're taking a good next step. Now let's solve this together. To get the m by itself, we have to get rid of the 8 and the 40. The 40 goes away first. So what we'll do is we'll subtract 40 from both sides. Perfect. And once we do that, we have ourselves 280 on the left side equals 8m because we're going to cancel the 40s on the right. And then our last step is going to be divide both sides by 8. So we'll show that right over here and there. Cancels out. And now we'll do just a little bit of long division. So allow me to take the work that we've done, move that right over, well, let's make it a little smaller, and move that right over there. So let's get our long division on. So we have 8 going into 280. 8 going into 28 will be 3 times, because 8 can't go into 2, but it can't go into 28 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. And we have 4 left over. Drop that 0. And now we ask, 8 goes into 40 how many times? And that will be a clean 5 times. So we subtract the 40 to show that there is no remainder. And we're good. There is M. M is $35 per lesson. Exactly what we were looking for at the beginning. And so our correct answer here, my friends, is answer choice D, $35 per lesson.